I've got my hands on exclusive alpha version of Starsand Island, and I've progressed as much as it's possible at the moment and made a super complete review with tons of information that you haven't seen before. Now, if you don't know Starsand Island at all, it's a new cozy game that feels like Fantasy Life, Studio Ghibli, and Animal Crossing mixed together with interesting features from Stardew Valley, Infinite Nikki, Coral Islands, and also some references to Sakura Card Captors and other 90s anime. They also just opened a Kickstarter a couple weeks ago with the goal to include some extra really cool features, which I'll also cover here. I separated this video in different sections to cover everything that I've learned. First will be house building and decoration, then character customization and dye system, vehicles and mobility, world map and visuals, story and quests, relationships and pets, professions, progression, island life, and lastly, I'll also summarize all of my final thoughts and opinions with my personal suggestions and also things that I would love to see improved and added to the game. I didn't know what to start this review with because there's so many unique features in this game. It has like literally such a unique spin on this genre, but I think one gameplay system that will definitely be a fan favorite will be the house customization. And be prepared because it's way better than you think, especially for a game like this. First of all, you can already own 2 homes to build and customize, the starter house and the boat house. Not only that, but the devs will also implement in the future a water theme park, which I'll talk more about in a bit. For the starter house, that's your base when you start the game. The house is tiny and is located in a very small plot, but fear not, because this plot can be expanded up to 8 times bigger than its initial area. Not only you can expand it to have this huge plot, but you can also fully customize it. And I mean it when I say fully. You can build whatever you want from ground zero. Walls, floors, roofs, stairs, just like you would do in a The Sims game, for example. You can change the shape of your house, create multiple houses, or attempt to make a treehouse like I did. You can also customize the wallpapers, floorings, railings, and so much more. And of course, you can fully decorate with whatever furniture you want. Some of the furniture can be bought at the shops around town, and some can be crafted. It's mostly up to you. Devs also mentioned we'll be able to save and change house plans in case we regret a certain decoration or combination, although I wasn't able to test the specific feature one myself. Not only that, but you can also interact with the things around your house. And let me say, it feels so immersive. There was just this warm, fuzzy feeling of waking up and opening the big sliding doors in my home and opening all of the windows. You can also change the photos in frames, play music, watch TV, and whatever more you like. For the boathouse, this feature was not on the alpha version, so I couldn't really test it out because it was on the goal of the Kickstarter campaign, which luckily they already achieved. The devs explained that not only the houseboat will be fully customizable as well, but it will also be an extra method of transport for you to cross the ocean. We will be able to fully customize and design it to be whatever we want. It could be a second home, a floating garden, or maybe a pirate ship. Me personally, I will probably convert it into a small bookshop of sorts in the water like we have around here in the UK canals. Lastly, on building, we'll also get the whole water theme park situation. This feature was not on the alpha, it's also a Kickstarter goal that they also have achieved already, so it is confirmed to be in the game at some point. The water theme park will be a sea area across the main island. The devs' goal is to create an interactive, fully customizable water park for us to build. They said they want to create tons of new items like water slides, Ferris wheels, and other amusement facilities that we'll be able to assemble ourselves. And hopefully we'll also be able to invite other players and NPCs to enjoy time together in this custom space. They also mentioned that hopefully one day the entire city and terrain of Starsand Island will be customizable, but I think these are subject to change and it's very dependent on the Kickstarter's success, as this specific feature is not even developed yet. Moving on to character customization, not only you can fully customize your character's appearance, but we'll also be able to dye clothes using materials that we gather, such as plants and berries. On the current alpha build I played, the character creation has only very limited options when you start out, but as you explore the game and open chests, you'll get new clothes, hairs, and options. Even then, as you can see, it's a little bit limited, but do not worry, devs already confirmed that we'll have tons of other customization options when the game releases, such as eye color changes, eyelashes, eyebrows, makeup with lipstick, blush, eyeshadow, and more, skin color changes, and further outfit customization such as hairstyles, hats, tops, bottoms, footwear, and bracelets. They've also made new designs for the starter menu, so it won't be as limited when you're first creating your character. And of course, after you start the game, you just need to interact with your wardrobe or go to the clothes shop to change your character at any time that you want. A really neat feature that I'm excited to cover is the vehicles, mounts, and just player mobility in general. This genuinely feels like a GTA game inside a cozy game. It's so much fun. I'm not particularly interested in vehicles, I don't even know how to drive in real life, but in this game it was so great, it feels absolutely amazing. You can obtain tons of different vehicles like motorbikes, scooters, cars, skates, and in the future, roller skates as well. The motorbikes and cars feel very similar in speed. I'll be honest, they are a little bit hard to control in the overworld, but if you stick to the main roads, they are excellent and feel really good to use. For the scooters, I think they are very good in between. They are slower than the motorbikes and cars, but they are much easier to control and you can run up the stairs in the city and everywhere with ease. For the skate, it's my absolute favorite. It genuinely feels so good and it's so fun that it's even hard to describe, and it's honestly one of my favorite things about the entire game. It reminds me of Kingdom Hearts, which we had a little skate and was also very fun. If you have never skated in real life, it may feel a little bit hard to control initially, but once you figure out the controls, it's actually super easy and intuitive. You can change your direction and make curves super smoothly, and the only problem with the skates is that they can't run up the stairs like the scooter can, unless you're jumping like crazy. And lastly, on vehicles, we'll also get rollerblades, which I'm extremely excited for. So we'll have rollerblades, and I'm losing my mind over this because if it has the same controls as this normal skate, it's going to be so much fun. And I cannot wait to feel like I'm Sakura card captors, which by the way was mentioned by the devs as their inspiration, so literally could not be any better than this. I'm losing it, honestly. For mobility in general, we have several controls. First of all, yes, we can swim. Swimming feels great, and I do think that the water visuals in general need a little bit more polishing, but again, this is an alpha version, and the devs did mention that the graphics and visuals will still be improved and they're still being polished. You walk at a nice speed, but you can also run or slow down to just walk around. You can also jump, and the coolest thing of all, will also have mounts. At the moment, you can only mount on pigs, sheep, and cows for now, but I think they may expand these options eventually. You can also climb in certain situations. If you do find a ladder in the mines, you can climb it, but so far that's the only place that I found that you can climb. Lastly, on this section, you can also unlock the train stations to travel around and use the boats to traverse the ocean, besides the houseboat that we'll have, which I mentioned earlier. And the sponsor for today's video is you. These videos take a lot of time and effort to make, so if you'd like to support my work, consider joining Patreon or checking my Vision. And if you don't have any to spare, that's okay. Just watching my videos, subscribing, liking, commenting helps so much. Not to mention it's also free. Now let's talk about the world, which is amazingly designed and overall feels very immersive as well. I haven't encountered any loading screens at all in the game except for when I traveled between different islands or to the mines, which is expected and was super fast anyways. The graphics, as you can see, are amazing. It has a nice, colorful art style, and the characters look so pretty. To be honest, the devs said they are still polishing the visuals and improving the graphics and the optimization, but honestly, the game runs super smoothly on my computer, and I think it's already gorgeous, so I can't wait to see what else, like how much better it can get when it releases. For the world, as you can see here on the map, it's massive, and we have several more areas to explore which you can unlock by completing certain goals, which I'll also talk more about later in the progression section of the video. You can also alter the world around you in certain places or quests by restoring and building certain spots, like the port for example, which was completely empty before I delivered the materials and completed that relevant quest. Exploring the world is so much fun. You can find chests everywhere that contain clothes, sometimes blueprints, and also materials. And everywhere you go feels super relaxing with the different weather, lighting, and seasons. I particularly love the ambience in the mines, and the sunsets are breathtaking. The attention to detail is insane and makes the game even better. You can see characters reacting and clapping. You can sit at the restaurants and enjoy your meal while looking at the views. You can open the doors and windows and interact with things like I mentioned before. Shops will close and open the doors, turn off the lights when it's closing time, and characters will come up downstairs when you visit them, and the list goes on. It's insane the amount of details that were already present in such an early build of the game. Lastly, on visuals, I'd like to mention that the UI is super intuitive. And a reminder, in case you don't know me, I'm professionally a UI UX designer, so I pay a lot of attention to this. I particularly love our mobile phone. It reminds me a lot of Animal Crossing New Horizons, and it feels amazing. We can track any locations of any characters we want on the map, and the completion menu is very cute and very straightforward. I also absolutely loved the small celebrations and micro animations that are sprinkled everywhere, such as the celebration I got from hitting the jackpot with my daily scratch cards, for example. For the story and quests, I won't say much on this because first, I don't want to spoil you, and I think it's worth experiencing it yourself, but I do want to say a couple things. The main story is just a guidance. There is no deadlines on how or when you need to complete it. And the side quests are completely up to us to pick and choose what we want to do and when. There is no punishments and no progression barriers of sort. I just love the mobile phone UI so much because not only it shows us the quest list, you can also choose what to track, and it's also super easy to follow even when you have tons of quests at the same time. Not only that, but you can deliver some of the quests through the phone, and I'm obsessed with this feature. Nothing feels better than completing a fetch quest and simply messaging the character to say, hey, I've done it, or take a photo proving that I've done it, without having to walk the entire map just to deliver the single message to an NPC. The dialogue overall feels very organic, flows really nicely, there isn't any walls of text, and all of the information was very digestible and presented in a good pace, at least in my opinion. Now, for a feature that a lot of people will be interested on as well is the relationships and pets. I have put pets in this section because in this game you can actually build a relationship with the pets that you meet. Starsand Island makes animals feel so real with their own personalities and traits, and if you're a pet owner you will probably love this. At the moment, I could find 8 different pets and I could interact with them, getting to know their behaviors, feeding them, and once you reach a certain level of friendship, you can also adopt them. The dev goal for animals are that, be it pets or livestock, will build subtle relationships with humans, nature, and other creatures. So the example that they've given is some pets love affection and will ask for it, while others prefer being left alone most of the time. For example, the capybaras, some of them will chase chickens to ride their backs, and others will sit on turtle shells. They will also make friends with other animals like squirrels, cats, dogs, and more. Some animals will pack together, others will rush to you, and others will take some time to warm up. It seems that these interactions don't offer any special rewards at the moment, but in my opinion, this is actually one of the main core design decisions that sets Starsand Islands apart from any other games I've played. Again, it's immersive, relaxing, and just plain magical. For the NPCs, you will find that the game is full of lovable characters with lots of distinct personalities. I especially love how you get these cute cutscenes when you meet a mentor for the first time, for example. Not to mention, these cutscenes are also voice acted, which just makes it even better in my opinion. Like other similar games, you can raise your friendship points with the characters by interacting with them and gifting them twice a week. You can also message them daily on your phone for an extra 10 friendship points, which is really cool and made me feel like I didn't need to go out of my way to interact or gift someone if I just wanted to mine all day, for example. Of course, there is dating as well. There are already tons of dateable characters at the moment. There may be even more characters later on, but that's not certain, and in the end, I personally would rather have few dateable characters that are very well developed, rather than a huge quantity with shallow backstories. Again, dialogue felt organic so far, and there is a very cute dating mechanic where you can invite characters for a date, have a lovely conversation with them, and progress on their own character stories. Besides dating and making friends, you also see tons of tourists in the island walking around, which felt very similar to Zenless Zone Zero, for example. But in this game, you can actually interact with the tourists to obtain random rewards like a Pokemon game, or even complete tiny little fetch quests, which honestly makes just the world feel even bigger and so much fun. And if you don't like that, you can just ignore it. So it's good for everybody. Now, I want to talk about the professions, which makes up a big chunk of the core gameplay. The professions are all connected with each other in some way and provide a ton of things to do that you can pick and choose what you prefer, or do all of them at once if you want. Similar to Fantasy Life I, you can get different jobs by registering with a mentor. Right now, I could enroll in 5 professions to test it out: gardening, ranching, fishing, crafting, and adventuring. But I think that maybe there could be more, because maybe cooking and the clothes dye system could be professions, as they could have Aurelis and Lunel as the mentors, and there are also like some extra activities like bug catching and maybe gathering that could be its own professions as well. I feel like they could be professions, but that's just an assumption of mine. This was never confirmed anywhere, so don't quote me on this. But let's get into detail for each profession, and I'll also include their related activities, including the bug catching and the cooking and the others I just mentioned. For gardening, this game literally cured my farming burnout, and I mean it. The farming is relaxing and enjoyable. Not only you can fully customize your farm if you wish to make one, but you can simply play how you want at your own pace. Tilling the soil and planting the seeds is super quick, and the seeds is spread in the plot, so you actually get 4 plants per seed, which is really cool and all. But my absolute favorite is watering the crops. Watering in Starsand Island is not a chore, because you can simply press and hold your mouse and it will water the entire area instantly. It feels a lot more natural and fast and easy as well. Over time, weeds can grow on your crops, which you will need to remove to ensure the quality, but this is how the professions start connecting with each other, because if you do ranching as well, you can have your rabbits eat the weeds in your stead by letting them live nearby the farm plot. The crops grow in real life time, so you can sometimes yield crops on the same day that you planted them. It may look a little scary at first, like a mobile game, but I think, personally, that this was a really good decision, because it makes the fertilizer actually meaningful, and it helps you not stress over watering every single in-game day. One thing that I really get annoyed in Stardew Valley is how I had to spend the whole morning every day just with the repeated activity of watering my crops, and it really felt like a waste of the other game mechanics that I enjoyed more. So in Starsand Islands, you can leave your crops there and just enjoy everything that the game has to offer. Also, there are different kinds of crops. such as giant crops, and also the more you plant and collect, you can obtain more of these immortal seeds, which makes you wield crops over and over again, no matter the plant type, which is a super fun mechanic, was a really nice addition, and adds nicely to the progression as well. Of course, there is a seasonal harvest with different seeds for each season, and after you gathered your crops, you have the choice to process them into new materials through all of the crafting stations from the crafting profession. Or you could simply sell all of them either on the shipping bin or on the stores. Lastly on this, the game also emphasizes that selling on the stores is much more profitable than the shipping bin, which I thought was a nice added trait to the economy system, which encourages players to go to the city every now and then to sell their products. For ranching, you can raise livestock animals besides all of your pets, but again, they feel like companions which you can interact with, feed, or even brush them for cleaning. And in exchange, like I just mentioned, some of the livestock will help you out on the farm, like the rabbits that eat the weeds that grow in the crops. The more you interact with them, the more you raise their friendship hearts, and the more high quality materials they will drop daily. To obtain animals, you can buy them at the rancher store, or you can capture some wild animals yourself, which again I thought was super fun. It felt like a Pokemon game, and this is a good connection with the adventure profession, where you can use your slingshot to stun wildlife and capture them. But I'll talk more about adventure a little bit later. When you capture an animal, you can sell it or you can raise it yourself. When raising all of your livestock, you can also try to breed them, which ends up on higher quality drops and other features which I was not personally able to test myself, so I can't say much about this, but it's interesting that the devs added this feature as well. Moving on to fishing, this is the feature that I explore the least. I normally do not enjoy fishing in literally no games ever. Thankfully in Starsand, fishing is actually quite enjoyable. It operates exactly as a Spiritfarer if you play that. You basically just need to aim your rods in the water on the spots that has fish, and once a fish bites, you just need to hold down your mouse to pull the fish in your direction. Some fishes are obviously harder to catch, so they will kind of like fight back, and all you need to do is release the rod when your line starts getting red. So that's pretty much a back and forth, but you just press and hold and release, press and hold and release, and you'll catch the fish eventually. You can also obtain treasures while fishing, and like mentioned, you can travel with the boat to certain fishing spots in the ocean to catch more variety. Also, as you catch more fish, you can complete the collections menu, and as far as I understand, you can also donate those to the awesome looking aquarium that they have, but again I haven't explored that much of the fishing, so I didn't actually get to donate anything. Then we have crafting, and this is the profession that connects the most with everything else. Everything you gather, collect, obtain while exploring and performing your other professions can be used and processed in different machines and crafting stations. Things like plants you gather, shrubs and tree trunks that you break with your axe, the fish that you got, the ores that you mine, or the bugs that you catch with your net, which is one of my favorite activities in the game so far. All of these can be used in different crafting recipes. You can also use them in certain cooking recipes, although, again, there is no actual profession specific to cooking at the moment, so I just left it here since it's kind of like a crafting process of sorts as well. Cooking is great for gifts and for energy recharge, while the bug catching, I think we may have a museum to donate them for, but I'm not certain. I didn't really find anything, so I may be hallucinating here, but I feel like there was a museum mentioned at some point. Also, the crafting profession has an interesting progression system on its own. The more quests you complete for Zareen, the more you can upgrade your crafting stations one by one. When you upgrade them, you can craft more and more recipes, which I didn't reach the final level, but it's quite interesting and felt very satisfying the more that I was improving. Lastly, on crafting and gathering in general, I think it's nice to mention that we have several tools, one for each kind of action. Like other games, we can upgrade those tools for example, break bigger boulders or unlock new areas in the mines. Also, if you press and hold your tools, you actually do a higher effect, but spending the same stamina, which I thought was a nice feature. If you are patient and you time it right, you can do more with less if you like to be efficient about these things. And the last profession is adventure and combat, which is my favorite. For adventuring, you will see yourself catching wildlife and exploring the mines. The mines, by the way, are gorgeous. One of my favorite places. Honestly, it has amazing ambience, it's beautiful. Again, it feels immersive, and you can even sleep in the mines if you unlock the campsites scattered across the map, which was a really nice quality of life improvement in comparison to similar games. Of course, you can explore and unlock new areas of the mines if you have these little spirits similar to Sealies in Genshin Impact. And again, you can choose to open the chests to obtain materials, outfits, and blueprints. As you explore the mines, you may find some small clusters of cute little enemies, and I even found one boss battle as well, which was very fun and chaotic. Which brings us to the combat, where you will use your slingshot, which feels amazing to use, but I'm a ranged combat kind of girl, so my opinion may be a little biased, as I don't usually enjoy the hack and slash kind of mechanic, and I personally have more fun being sneaky and attacking my enemies from afar. Essentially, you can equip the slingshot with rocks, stones, or pallets that you can craft. You simply need to aim and shoot, and if you time it right, for example when an enemy is about to attack, you will actually deal a critical hit damage, which again, feels amazing and just added to the fun overall. And I have to mention, although it does feel great to use the slingshot, I have encountered a serious problem. Because I have the tendency to spam and misclick, I ended up changing the slingshot ammunition to the quartz ores that I have just mined instead of my pellets. And I realized it too late when I found out that I had no quartz left, and I was pretty frustrated, so I think this definitely needs to be improved. But I talk about my criticisms at the end of the video instead if you're interested on the negatives. And lastly, on professions, you have skills you can upgrade to obtain bonuses for profession as well. In your phone, you can use the star shells, which I'll explain in a second, to unlock these tiers for each job. But I haven't progressed too much, and I think these are still subject to change for the final release. For progression, as I just mentioned, every activity you partake will help you progress in the game, and will also earn you star shells. Not only that, but you also have these daily tasks you can complete at any pace you want to obtain even more of these star shells. Now don't worry, because you can truly choose whatever you want to do and can really ignore the mechanics that you're not really interested on without any punishments. But of course, the more stuff you do in your day, the more star shells you obtain, and the more you can upgrade your profession skills, progressing faster overall. This progression can be tracked on your phone as well, and it's super easy to understand and to follow. Here you can interact with each level or rank to see what it will unlock. Things like new islands or the train station, buildings, and more. It's literally just like Animal Crossing New Horizons if you play that, where the star shells are like the Nook miles and the progression is like your town rank of sorts. And of course, you can also complete achievements, which you will find on your phone, as well as this companion of sorts where you can see all of the creatures and mats you collected. And the last section of this video, before my personal opinions and complaints, is the island life. I made a separate section for this because I really wanted to do a quick honorable mentions of details and smaller features that I personally found really enjoyable, and that just kind of like improves the overall quality of life on the gameplay. For example, something that is really neat, that you can save your game at any time you choose, wherever you are. No need to rush back home just to save. The days are pretty long, taking around 30 minutes in real life for a full in-game day cycle. You do need to sleep at a certain hour, which is something that I hope they will remove, as I think that limitation hinders the immersion. If you faint out like you didn't go to your bed to sleep for 3 days in a row, you will have to sleep for a full day as a punishment. And a feature that I thought that was nice and enjoyable without paying too much on your face was the events. Currently, I think there is only one event in the alpha, which is this shiny sea situation. I didn't quite experience that for myself, but it does repeat from time to time, so you don't need to feel bad for skipping it. I think it was like once a week or something. I haven't found much info on the event so far, but I think we'll know more during the year before the game releases. Lastly, on island life, is one of my favorite things as well, is that you can just idle around and just enjoy the island life by taking cute photos of the scenery, the characters, and yourself. And you can also sit back on different restaurants and cafes to just enjoy your meal, which felt so wholesome. That concludes the overall preview and every single mechanic that I managed to explore that felt close to completion. I know that I yapped for quite a bit already, but I really wanted to share my personal thoughts and especially my criticism with my own suggestions and my hopes for the game. First, things that I would like to complain about that are really negative and I think they are a must and the game definitely needs to improve on. First of these are that I know that they will include more character customization, but please just add curly and wavy hairs and more diverse styles overall. Also, let us have hair separated from the hat. There are too many hairs that look cute, but I don't like the hat personally. Another must for me is the skin colors. Honestly, it's 2025, just give us a color wheel. It doesn't matter if I'm going to be blue, yellow, or whatever, just let players choose what's right for them. I think that's the only solution. Another must for me is that clothes are gender locked, and that makes no sense to me. Just let me wear whatever I want. I get that the body shapes are different, but like, I don't know, maybe just decrease the size a little and call it a day. You know, it's better to be a little wacky rather than locked out completely. Another thing that I think the game needs to improve on is the stairs design around the world. Either make the skates and roller skates able to skate up the stairs, or what you could do, because the limitation is kind of fun and makes sense, what you could do is add little ramps in the middle of the stairs or on the sides of the stairs so we can climb up without leaving our skates or spamming the jump button like a demon. Another thing is stabilize the camera. I'm aware that this is not finalized yet, so I'm sorry if I'm repeating something that is already on the plans, but I do think that the camera shakes a bit too much when I'm skating. Maybe on the final release we could just adjust the speed of the motion, or I don't know, whatever is easier to implement really. I just think it's shaking a little bit too much when you're skating around. Also, something that would be really good quality of life improvement is to let us craft from nearby chests of storage. It's not exactly a must, but would be really nice to see. And I noticed that time doesn't stop every time that the menu is open, so either that's a bug or at least show us the time when that happens. And lastly, on my complaints is the whole situation with the slingshot, which I know that was mostly my fault as a player, but would be really nice if we could equip ammunition instead, you know, being able to accidentally waste my entire quartz empire on some random enemies. And to finish my thoughts, I would like to request, mostly just for fine-tuning or to improve the game even further than already is, first of all, this one may sound a little random, a little specific, but I really love capybaras. And the fact that they're already in the game and they're super cute just fuels my dream for them to make a capybara onsen area. Like a proper relaxing feudal slice of life anime onsen. Imagine a space with running water, steam, natural rocks, capybaras floating around with fruits and egg baskets, where you just enter the water to relax, maybe restore some of your energy and stamina, or even call NPCs to join you. Again, I know this is super niche, but it's just that no game has ever scratched that itch of mine. They always make it super empty or super urban or modern, and I just want to have that relaxing experience that I can't have in real life. So yes, onsen capybara, if you want that, please comment down below. Second is that the devs should add even more quests that can be completed through the phone. Honestly, nothing felt as good as being able to take a photo or even just send a simple message to an NPC to deliver a fetch quest. Like seriously, it's such a time saver and it just makes sense. I don't know, I just loved it. It's really good. Also, would be amazing if we could sleep at any time and not be forced to sleep at 2 a.m. I just really don't like this mechanic. This is really annoying. I'd rather be able to skip a night and not get, just get a punishment, you know, as in less stamina or something like that. I would also love the smaller details to be more refined, like add more chests and exploration rewards, maybe something like Infinity Nikki and Mario Odyssey, where we can get some coins around the map, or some smaller like little puzzle-like activities. The books need to be expanded upon. I don't get what they are used for, but I do love their assets. I mean, the image, like the UI and the idea of the books are really amazing. Maybe we could have a library of sorts where we can collect these books and deliver to the library. Something I also would love to see is seasonal outfits for the NPCs Although I think the next Kickstarter goal may be that, but I'm actually not sure. I don't really understand what the next goal is, but maybe that's it. If it's not, then seasonal outfits for the NPCs would be amazing. And lastly, on things I'd love to see is a PT limit for the scratch card. Because hitting that jackpot was so hard, it would be really nice if at every 100 or even at every 1,000 tickets, it was a guaranteed jackpot. I don't know. The gambling addiction hit strong there. The jackpot was so hard. I had to buy so many scratch cards, and it was so amazing, but I feel like it needs a little bit more of a celebration for considering how hard it is to get. But overall, I think the game is amazing and didn't even feel like an alpha. Seriously, for me, it's basically ready for release, if not for some fine-tuning. I can't wait to see what other goals will unlock on their Kickstarter, and I think the game will be a good fit for everyone who enjoys a cozy, relaxing game, enjoys playing at their own pace in a very customizable way, with tons of creative features, flexibility to play how you want, and kind of like cure that cozy game burnout that so many of us is afflicted by. I think the devs have their minds in the right space right now, and it's really about seeing these neat features put together, and I truly believe this could potentially be the next big game with all these unique features and this unique spin on such a saturated genre. What do you think? Please let me know in the comments below and tell me if there is anything random that you'd like for the game to include as well. Also, if you think you will love this game, please just wishlist the game on the Steam. This helps the devs a lot. And also, if you can check their Kickstarter page, which has only 1 week left, where you can grab some special rewards as well. If you'd like to see the gameplay for Starsand Island, I'm actually gonna live stream it next Saturday. So if you want to watch the live stream, at the times you can see on the screen. Thank you so much for watching and see you on the next one.
Ryan Little. Listen.